is still scheduled. Yeah, broadcast is live now. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Now it is broadcasted.
Yes.
Good morning to one and all. On behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, I welcome the resource person, Mr. Nizamuddin, founder and CEO of Toolit Company. And also I welcome all participants to this live webinar session. Now I will introduce about our resource person, Mr. Nizamuddin. Mr. Nizamuddin completed his undergraduate degree in our college itself, C.Abdul Hakeem College of Engineering in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. And he played a role of president in the Students Guidance Cell in the year of 2012 to 13, I think. Okay. Then he played major role like a campus relation executive in the Freshers World and many other roles in different companies. Currently, he is the founder and business head of the Toolit organization. I welcome the resource person, Mr. Nizamuddin, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you so much for the very warm introduction. And being a student, I'm so happy to be meeting you here again, and would love to talk to the other students of C.Abdul Hakeem College, my juniors, and share my experience and what I think about my journey, and why starting up should be something that you should also consider in your life. So the next couple of minutes, the whole objective is going to be, what is something that I've learned, or, how do you think, or what was my mistake, or, how do you think you can start something of your own? So let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer here. I'll also put my credentials in the end. So even if you have any questions post this, you can anytime connect with me. So I hope you are able to see this slide. So Suresh, can I get started with the slides?
Yeah, sure. You can start.
Thank you. Wonderful. So yeah, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this quick webinar talking about why do you want to be or why you don't want to be an entrepreneur. And what I wanted to speak here is, I think you can get a lot of inspiration from the internet. Just go to YouTube and search for motivation for entrepreneurs, or how do you want to start an idea, or how do you want to start a business. You will get a bunch of videos from the experts, from the industry experts, from the successful entrepreneurs, etc. What I thought a couple of facts that you about starting a something, or if you know about starting the whole is going to be where I'm talking about my experiences, having a number of years of experience in the past. So also starting from where I started. So yeah, myself Nizamuddin Vellore was my name. The company that is called it's an enterprise sales like Citibank, Healthcare, and we have 80% I'm 4 years of this product, and it's won a lot of awards in best product in enterprise and all that. That is a product which we launched. So I was running digital marketing from before. Academy is now product. So I got in the month of August, September in 2020. That's my profile. So let's get started. And before I get started, also talk about how I started off. I one day approached someone and said, "Hey, I wanted to start something. I have an idea." And this is while I was in my third year. And I mean, luckily that he was happy. He gave me I was to other systems where I was from the two computers that that's where I started. In my third year, I started working on this, and after I should say 11, 12 years, I'm like able to run a company with more than 23 employees right now, and having customers who are called so big brands like Tata, GE, etc. And about the life, the early stage of my life, I had a lot of these thoughts, right? So when you start something alone, because I was a single founder, when you start something alone, the life was all miserable. Before getting to my life, I am not really sure whether you know this guy. I'm sure that you don't know this guy because this guy is not popular, but his product is very popular. I am sure that there's nobody who is not using WhatsApp every day. I mean, pretty much everybody is using WhatsApp. This is the guy who founded it. I want to keep you this guy and WhatsApp in your mind throughout the presentation because I want to convey something from his life, and that I'll be talking at the end of the show. Coming back to my life, a couple of things I can call it as a lie or a life because my life was so amazing because it was always stressful. You always figuring out to pay the salaries initially. You're always trying to understand how to get a nice customer because I'm a customer now, and the amount that he gave is already done, and you have like 5 to 6 employees the initial days, right? So you have 5 to 6 employees to take care and pay salary for. There is a rent, there is multiple miscellaneous expenses. So considering all those pain points, looking at the solution, it was always very, very good and amazing. And I have a lot of freedom that time because if my friends were like taking me out or they were calling me out for a trip or anything, I was not really able to do it because I was bound into the problems because I had to finish a proposal to be sent or I had to create a document for the customer requirement document or something like that. So like initial days, it was all about no freedom at all because it was all about how to deal with the customer, how to get the customer, payments, how to get a new customer, how to make your employees happy. Because being a startup, you have your minimum setup, which is given to your sales, to your complete employees, and for them, they're expecting a lot from the company. So making them happy, keeping them stick with you, it was all a hard work. So you literally were not having no freedom. So what I'm talking about freedom is that time when started, you were not really having freedom. And it was not about not regretting for the job. So I have multiple times I was thinking I shouldn't have done this. I should have quit this or look for another job. Or I had a best of time when it was coming out. Not in India, but again, I thought about multiple times where I wanted to take a job because this is so much disappointing. This is so much irritating. You don't really get a solution you want it. You always have a problem with your customer or an employee or with your product or with your service. So there is no time, initial days, that you kind of thought a second about, I want a job. And this was another fascinating story that I thought, okay, I could be on my own boss and I don't really have to answer somebody if there is anything. But this was again wrong because I had to answer to the employees, I had to answer to the customers, I had to answer to the vendors. So they were like, you're not really being a boss. You're basically, getting multiple people on top of you. Because if you're getting a job, you get suppose you're the only a manager on top, but here we were having like, tens of people on top of you. And this was another, because we never had a good time. I don't really remember spending continuous 5 days with family and friends. It was only when I go there for 2 days and come back. So this was the initial days, and this was all a lie which I thought that I would get if I start a company, if I have my own product. But now, after a couple of years of hard work, and we have got some good clients, and we have had a good revenue, and there is a nice growth in the company. And after that, the whole story changed. Now we are able to spend some time with the family because we have people to take care of. We have a sales head to take care of the sales, a product head to take care of the product, we have a support head to take care of the support. What you have to really do is maybe spend 30 minutes initially if you want to take a break and check with them, hey, what is really going on, and do you need some help from me? This is now being your own boss, because initially you want to answer to everything, but now after a stage, you get HR to answer your employees, you get customer success manager to answer to your clients, you have multiple different stakeholders in the organization to answer to you. And now you are being your own boss after a period of time. But again, this is after a period of time. And I really don't regret at all, because this is also giving us a stream revenue. This is also, and the best part is that instead of not taking jobs, we're able to create jobs. We're able to make a lot of jobs. We have employed hundreds of people. We help them start their career, and they're able to settle down because there is some value that we have given to their life by giving them job that time. And I do have a lot of freedom. I do have financial freedoms. I do have freedom to decide how my day has to be, whom should I be talking to today, or should I be doing it in the second half. I don't really have to ask questions. So life is definitely easy, because it's the what I did off wasn't working after and started working. So it's a story where initially it all happened, then it literally was working fine. But you see all that start working. And let's get into the actual topic, why people fail, or whether you want to start something, right? So those who are listening to me, I'm not really sure how many people are listening to me now. Even if it is 1, 2, I want you to think twice whether you want to start something. And if you want to start something, are you really ready for starting up something? Or do you have an interesting idea that can make changes in the entire world? For example, that WhatsApp story I was talking to you about. He launched a platform which helps people to communicate in real time, where he had no idea how to make money out of it. He had no idea how can I sell something on top of it. It was always free. And you just see that in a very short span of time, in a couple of months, he sold the same product to Facebook for more than $20 billion. So I remember reading this when they were putting this proposal to Facebook. They actually quoted for around 12 billion. So billion, I'm not talking about million, it's $1 billion, right? So their entire thought process was to create a solution, a quick messaging platform, a responsive messaging platform that can sit inside your smartphone, and you keep the data access anytime without the internet availability. So you'll be able to even see the old messages and conversations. So it is kind of helping you get in touch with your near ones, friends, and family, etc. So initially he had no idea, but he had a problem that he wanted to solve. That time, the other platforms, that wasn't reliable, that wasn't scalable. It has a lot of issues to do with. And it dependent was a lot of internet connectivity was there. I mean, there was a lot of dependency with internet connectivity. So he had this points in his mind when he started, and he never thought about having the revenue coming to it, because what he was looking at was a problem. and it was successful. After a couple of months, he was able to sell it. So if you are thinking about starting up something, what you need to have in your mind is an idea which can sell, an idea which can be sold to the potential customers, potential consumers. Even if it is a very, very minute idea, you can see some interesting minute ideas which change the entire life, the way that we think about it. Even the StreamYard, the tool that you're using currently, is acquired by a company called Hopin, and where Hopin is a company which was launched almost a year and a half back, and the revenue is even lesser than what StreamYard is, but they both got acquired last 3-4 months back. And the scale of the StreamYard is also so big. I mean, they were also able to scale to around 40 million monthly recurring revenue in a very short period of time, because they had this problem of streaming live. You wanted to make people, wanted to allow people to stream live to multiple platforms at a single time, which wasn't really easy in the initial days, because I wanted to have a hardware setup. I wanted to buy some extra devices. Then I need to also know some technical knowledge to connect to my multiple social media channels. Then I can invest it. But now, after bringing this platform, I mean, it was pretty simple. I was able to simply click on my channels, and at a time, while I'm talking in front of the camera, the data or the streaming will go to my multiple platforms. So every best platform, every best products that you see in the world has come out from a problem. So you need to first have a skill to observe and learn about problems. This is my first and most important, I cannot call it as an advice, but a tip that I can give it to you if you are thinking about starting up something. And so before talking in detail about starting up something, it is also very important that why people fail, because there are thousands of startups coming every year. Only in India we have like thousands of startups, but almost 90% of the startups, they fail to survive. Survival is a very important terminology that we use in startup, because successful is a different story altogether. Survival is the most important word that we can use. So if a company is able to survive for an average of 3 years, then it is called to be a successful company. That's what the experts say. It's not from me. That's what the experts say. So like I said, like 90% of the companies fail to survive. And from the data that I was looking at, the reason for those failures were, I've taken a couple of reasons which I wanted to highlight in this. The reasons were the idea that they wanted, the market was not ready for it, or nobody wanted that product yet, because it was his own problem, or it was a problem that he found to be interesting for him and for his friend, but not for a global market. So when I'm creating an idea, and 42% of the companies failed because that there was no need of a solution like that in the market. So when you think about an idea, what you have to think about is, who is going to be a customer for this? Who is going to buy this? Is he really going to use this? Or is he really going to buy this? So there can be some solutions available in the market, which is available for free. But the moment you ask for a $10, 100 rupees, 1,000 rupees, customers will simply reject, saying that, okay, this is not worth 100 rupees. But your cost of building that will be like 100 rupees or 200 rupees. So that's where the complete problems comes. If the market is not demanding for a solution like that, then that idea can fail. So for you to do it, the first thing you need to keep in your mind is, once you have an idea, you need to go out and talk to people. Hey, I have an idea like this. Would you like to talk about this? Do you want to talk about this problem? Or if I give you a solution like this, are you ready to buy this? So talk to 100 people, talk to 1,000 people, and see if there is a real need of this idea, or if there is a real need of this product. So I'm not talking about service companies or product development companies, like app development companies, software development companies for external clients. There is always a need for it, and there is always a problem in scaling. But I'm talking about a product idea. I'm talking about an innovative, manufacturing idea. So if there is a need, then you can definitely go and pursue it. Second most reason that we found is running out of cash. So normally what I've seen people doing is they go out for a job. So they work for like 5 years or 10 years. They make some money as a bank balance, like 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, or they get money from their friends and family. And they spend this a lot. So this was the problem that I did. So initially when we launched a product, we got an investment from a German company. That was a multinational firm again, and they gave a good amount of investments for us to build the product. And the mistake that I did was we were keep on building the product without going and asking the customer, hey, what I'm building is the right product for you or not? Or will you be able to pay for this product if I build it and give it to you or not? Instead, we were like, okay, let us make a bigger product and one of the biggest product. And when we launch it, we should be the biggest in the market. And we were not really cared about asking a customer or launching a minimum viable product of this. And we kind of spend our whole money on product development. So the moment we launched, we were not having anything left with us for doing sales and marketing. So we had to literally shut down the product. So when you have your cash, when you have your plan of spending this money, it's so important that you split this money for multiple purposes. One for product development, second for research, third for marketing, fourth for resources. So it's so important to have a detailed understanding in terms of what is my cost to be, how much money that I need to spend, or is it really need money for running this business? For example, I know a few people who work with companies like Meesho, and they take this product and they resell it, but there is no expense there. The only thing is you have a lot of influencers or friends and family or groups, and they simply take these pictures from Meesho and share it on your Facebook group or WhatsApp group. And when there's a purchase made, you directly make a purchase to Meesho and Meesho will deliver it. So there is no transaction or need of a money there, but there is definitely an effort that you need to spend where there is no cash required. So that is a sustainable business, right? So cash is another most important idea. In some cases, if the product is so much of cash. But again, the question coming that used to come to me is like, how much money that you had or I had when I started my business? So I was not having anything. So we started with almost zero investments. But what we had was we had some initial customers to pay for. And we used that customer payments to reinvest in the company to scale it. So that really helped. So that is one way of looking at it. Will you be able to make some cash from any services that you offer on a recurring basis so that you will be able to feed your employees or feed your cloud storage, etc., etc. And the other very, very, very important reason why you should not do it if you don't have this, right? If you don't have the right team, if you don't have a right team to start working on an idea, let's say if you're trying to work on a software product, which is going to serve on a banking segment, you're going to build a fintech where, think about an idea where anybody can come and create a bank account using your application, do the transaction, etc., etc. It is so important that you need an expert of fintech, you need an expert of an iOS or technology expert, you need an expert who can really talk to the large enterprises and get them onboarded as partners or alliances. So most of the companies that in my experience also failed because of not having a right team. So it's so important that you should have a right team. You should hire the right people. Otherwise, you will also waste a lot of money on salaries. So having a right team is one of the very most important point why companies used to fail. Outcompeted. This is an interesting area that you could probably see in the last couple of years, right? So it's all about competition. You need to really see. You should never underestimate your competitors. You should always understand your competition. You should always, understand what is wrong with your competition. Take that as an advantage when building a product. So if you're building, let's say there is Uber in the market, which is a global company. And when Ola is coming, what you have to look at is Ola knows the local market, local people, and how it works in the local, because India is a very huge country with its own taste for individual culture, right? So when you look at a larger competitor, you should be looking at what is wrong with them, what is something that I have an advantage on top of the competitor so that I'll be able to go and achieve. Otherwise, if you consider them as, okay, I have a technology, I have a better UI, I have a better product, I have a better team, then that is not going to help you. So there are multiple ways we have seen companies failing because of the competition. So you need to really, really understand the competitions when you're also thinking about starting a business. This is something that I explained, but I'm talking about the right time, because time is also a constraint, or a market is a constraint. For example, there can be scenarios where you launch something but not at the right time because the product is yet to come. So I remember working with a company based out of Bangalore. They launched this product in 2014, but they were not able to really make use of it, because the internet penetration was very less. They were not able to make people to use this particular product because the internet penetration was very less. And they were targeting India, which was a wrong market, because if they targeted US or any other market where the internet penetration was high, they would have achieved well. But they were looking at India as a market where the internet usage is very less, or comparatively very less now, which literally they spent a lot of money and they had to shut down the company. But I have seen a similar product which is launched recently in 2020, and they went like boom, because there are close to 1.5 billion users, or we have 500 million active internet users in India. So the penetration has gone high, and India has become a market for it. So it is also important that you're launching your idea product in the right time and to the right market. So you can think about a different market if India is not the right market. And this is another most important critics. I mean, this is also another pain that I had. So I never learned a business. The only thing that I learned is from the failures we made. Okay, when we do a mistake, then we get to know that, okay, this was a mistake, but time has gone already. So yeah, so you also need to have a business model for your business. How are you going to scale it? How are you going to take it to the next level? How are you going to raise some, let's say, 1 million? How are you going to take your monthly revenue? How are you going to reach out to your target customers? What is a medium for reaching out to your target customers? What are the different campaigns that you can run? Where are you going to get money for running on this campaign? So you need to have a proper business model in mind. Otherwise, what is also important here is, so initial days, even I was like very bad at building this business model. So what we did is we found a mentor who can do it for us. So we had a mentor. So my mentor that time was the COO of UTV Pictures. So she was a extremely good mentor. She helped me with how to create a business model, or how to really plan for your business scaling and all that. So a lot of these companies fail because it is not having a proper business model. And I think this talking about business model itself is going to be another 1 week task, because you should really go back and search in YouTube about startup business model, etc., etc. So there is something more SWOT analysis, which is something that you should do, because that will help you to decide whether I should take this idea forward. And some set of areas, because they have a wonderful product, they have an amazing solution, and they know that people are going to pay me for this, but they failed because of poor marketing. One simple example is that we all know this Tata Nano cars. I love Tata Nano cars because the way that they built it, it's simple, it's so small that you can use it in any small areas if you want. But they literally failed in their marketing, and their revenues gone very down. They had a huge loss initially when they launched. The reason was they were positioning Nano as a cheap car. So we all Indians have a no towards something called cheap, because we all love to have an iPhone, Mac, etc. because we love luxury, or we love to talk about being in the luxury life. So the cheap car is something that really, made their complete marketing campaign worse. So when you do marketing, you need to really think twice. You need to talk about your pain problems. You need to talk to the right customers. You need to take the right platform to communicate with the right customers. So there are so many things. That's another huge area that you should do investigate. But maybe what you can do is you can hire a mentor. you can have a mentor who knows about marketing, who can tell you some basics about marketing, and so that you have a lot of time saved. Then you don't have to do these mistakes again and again. And the fourth important point is ignoring customers. So I was in Jaipur a week back with my customers. So I was in a meeting with a company which is already raised close to 500 crore, and we're working with them from the last 2 years. We have a lot of stories for the reason that they love us, because we help them save lakhs of money every month. We help them process their complete loan processing within 10 days, because initially it was 15 days. So we were meeting with their board members, and in the long 10, I think we had around 10 seats in that board meeting room. There was one blank chair left, and I loved the way that he put that blank chair. So he was telling that blank chair is for customer. So when we are discussing about a product, you need to keep in your mind that there is a customer who's sitting with you, and the decision that you're taking is for the customer. So you need to listen to your customers. You need to continuously engage with the customers and understand, hey, am I doing it right? Do you want some changes in this product? Or are you looking at something which is more innovative than this? Or is it solving your problem? So ignoring customers is another very, very bad thing which normally happens. There are so many tools if you're running a product company to get in touch with the customers, to automatically email them, to automatically text them and ask, hey, how can I help you? Can we have a call, etc., etc. That is also something that you can learn if you search for customer retention or customer success in the YouTube. Another very important point, pivoting. So pivoting is all about, if you see something going wrong, you should take a decision to change it quickly. So there's a company which I know, which is, they were also working with us, and now we are also kind of associated to target a segment. So this company was initially running as a community platform for B2C customers, not for B2B customers. They had around almost 10,000 new signups every day. They're close to millions of users, but their revenue was almost zero. They were not able to, so they had a lot of costs for their employees. They had a lot of costs for their servers and all that, but they were not really able to make money out of it. And I remember in this pandemic, what they did is they used the same code base, they used the same application, but they changed their segment to B2B, which means they told that now we are no more a B2C community. Now we help companies to build their own internal communities for employees. They change their target customers, they pivot their business model. Now that I know, when I was talking to the founder recently, they already crossed 1 crore on annual recurring revenue, working with some very, very good brands in the industry now. So within a year, they were able to, so they took like 4 years to 5 years to really understand the pivot. But the moment they realized there's something going bad, they changed their idea, they changed their target customers, they changed their market, they changed the whole positioning of the product, and they're able to succeed. So doing a pivot in the right time is also very important when you're starting a business. Passion. So this is so important that you don't see with everybody. So if you're able to keep the same passion continuous, there is no reason that you fail. There is definitely, you will get this reason. So passion should be there for learning something new. Passion should be there to go and network with people. Passion should be there to engage with the customers. Passion should be there to build new interesting features, make a version 2, make a version 3, etc., etc. And some few are there who also had to stop their company because of the legal challenges, because this regulations are very important when you run a company. So there are a few companies, even I know a few companies who had to close this from the cryptocurrency that time. Right now it is slowly getting legal. They had to stop their whole idea because in India, we had issues with the cryptocurrencies. So, but these are few things. So when you build your idea, when you actually think about your idea, you should simply think about, do I have a legal challenge? Do I have a passion to work on this? Will I be able to make some money out of it? Do we really have a customer that I can go and talk to, or can I talk to the customers? Or is there a way to reach marketing, right? How do I reach out to my customers? What is a right way of reaching out to the customers? What is a platform where I can find the customers, right? So all of this are something that you need to keep in your mind. That's a lot. Again, So what I think is the best thing with millennials, all of you guys, right? So the best thing is that you have a huge ocean of opportunities. The digital has given you enough platform and flexibility to connect with the right set of people, with the right set of vendors. The only thing you have to do is take some risk. Take some risk about, shall I start up something? Or is it an idea that is going to change the world? Or is it an idea that is going to change at least 100 people's life, right? So you need to have, what is essential for you is a mindset of taking risk and having fun with it. Because if you take a risk, I'm sure that because it is a risk, there will be challenges. And if you're going to get depressed because of all this, then I think that is not the right way. So you should take a risk, plus we should have a fun with it, right? A quick 5 important steps to start it. You can take a note of this. You can just keep it in your mind, right? So this is the first 5 steps. Just find a unique problem. So this unique problem can be around you. Unique problem can be in the words of people talking to you. Unique problem can be in your family. Unique problem can be when you're traveling in a bus. Take Ola. Ola is not having any cars on. Now they have, but before they not having. Uber is not having any cars on by them. Take Airbnb. Airbnb is having no hotels on by them. So you take any platforms like this, even if you take Amazon. So Amazon is now having Amazon Basics, but before they were not having any products on by them. They were only a platform for connecting the drivers and the travelers. It was only a platform. Airbnb was only a platform connecting the house owners and the travelers. Uber was only a platform for connecting the drivers and the people who want to take a trip. So there was a problem that traffic was a problem, bus was a problem, having your own car, parking was a problem. If I take my own car, where will I park if I go for a meeting? So there is always a unique problem running around you. So just figure out what is that unique problem. And you see if there is a best way to solve it. And that can be your first and most important trigger. Just don't do it because somebody is doing it. Second is, okay, you have a problem that you identified. Talk to people. Talk to hundreds of people. And if you think talking to your friend, he may steal it and do it by himself, that's absolutely wrong. Because everybody has got its own way of implementation. You might not be able to do the same way that he do, or he might not be able to do the same way that you do. So talk to as many people as possible, and you understand the core of that problem, and you ask them, what if you give a solution like this? Will you be able to use it? So talk to people. Third, very important, is find yourself a mentor. So mentor is a very, very key element. For example, I even do mentoring for a couple of startups into security, into travel, etc. Where I don't talk about everything. I talk about something which I know, so that they save time there, right? So they don't have to reinvent those things again. So you need to find a mentor for yourself, where who is an expertise in what they're talking, sales or marketing, product, etc. Or even in terms of the revenue, see if you can talk to somebody who can help you in literally in multiple cases. Fourth one is do a soft launch of your idea. So soft launch is nothing but, let's say if I have an idea in my mind, let me build a minimum sellable version of it and sell it and launch it and give it and ask them for a feedback, then rebuild. So like the mistake that I was talking to you about, don't spend too much of time in building everything. Just build a minimum product and then give it. Listen and learn, which is the most important point. You should listen to your customers, because you are not going to use this product, or you are not going to use this manufacturing software or any devices or anything that you're going to build, right? So your customers are going to use it. Always listen to them so that you will get interesting ideas. So initially when we launched Tolite, what you see now and what we launched in February 2017 was like, I think 80% differences, because from there onwards, we were talking to customers and trying to figure out what is something that we can add value or build it more into Tolite, which has really helped us to acquire customers like GE Healthcare, world's biggest medical devices company, Citibank, one of the biggest bank, Tata, one of the biggest company here. So we were able to bring all of them to the platform just because we were listening to the customers, right? So these are the 4 core points which you can keep in your mind. And this is the right time to start in India, because one is we have a nice support. So I think I've already prepared some point in terms of why this is the right time to start in India. We have a lot of freedom here. So one is we have a lot of consumption growth. The consumers are more intelligent. We have a very large enterprise market. For example, Chennai is known to be the SaaS city because there is a lot of SaaS. SaaS is nothing but software as a service. So Rolite is also a SaaS. Acadil is a SaaS. Chennai is known to be, a SaaS city because there are a lot of SaaS companies like, let's say, Freshdesk. There's a company like ChargeBee, Zoho, which is so popular. I think there are billions of dollars which is actually getting generated only from Chennai. So there is a huge market, and the best part is quality talent, because we have a lot of engineering colleges where we can hire from, and the quality, the cost is lesser. For example, if I want to hire, so while we expanded to Korea, for a fresher, we had to give them around 1.5 to 2 lakhs for a fresher who knows nothing, and the quality is worse than an Indian employee. We had to pay around 1.5 to 2 lakhs a month. So here it is the entire opposite case. So you get quality resources for a lesser cost. Like I said, if you take the whole enterprise market, the top IT companies are out of India. Take HCL, take CDS. All of the top companies are on the global scale. India is already considered as an enterprise market. So when you build something in India for an external outside Indian market, I think that is also going to be a huge revenue or a market for you. Plus, there are a hell lot of communities to help you. For example, if you want to build, if you want to even talk about your problems, there are a good number of, there is an open coffee club based out of Chennai. There is VIT, there is an entrepreneurship cell, where I recently got a chance to visit and talk to the startups there. SGC was there. I don't know really how it is working there, but there are a lot of communities from the startups, from the founders, from the investors in every city's tier 1, tier 2. There is a tier 2, tier 3 focused investment company who is based out of Trichy and Madurai. They only focus on ideas from tier 2 and tier 3. They don't invest in any companies who are from tier 1. So these people are a lot of, they're supporting each other. They're building communities. So just go Google for a community in Vellore. You should be able to find startup communities. And large consumer install base. I was talking to you about this. So we have like 500,000 people always online. And we have 1 billion active phone connections, 160 million smartphones sold every year, which means it's an ocean of opportunity. So what you can build to be used on a smartphone and get paid, right? So you can have an interesting idea. Think about TikTok, how cool the product was, and that interesting thing about viral like anything, and it's huge. They sold, and they're trying to sell it to Microsoft and all that, but that is a different story. So think about this install base, consumer install base as another huge opportunity for you to think about an idea for the market. And there are a hell lot of problems in the agriculture segment, in the irrigation segment. If you are interested to be a social innovation guy, to also give back something to the poor people, go to the tier 3 cities. And there is a hell lot of problems which you can solve, right? For the culture, agriculture and all that. So you can definitely think about visiting them and coming up with some ideas. And we also have global attention. Think about Walmart acquiring Flipkart for a huge billions of dollars. Byju's, that's one of the biggest unicorns in the world now, built by a Malu guy, again, from Bangalore. But he spent really 2-3 years in thinking about how to build it. So, like Usain Bolt used to say, for that 1 minute that he's running, he normally spent years to be the first person. So it's not that 1 minute that matters. It's that 3 years or 4 years or 5 years that matters to be preparing for that 1 minute, right? So like this Byju's guy was preparing a lot in terms of how do I launch and all that. So there is a lot of global attention. Alibaba coming to India and investing in Paytm and another lot of companies. And lots of API and data and things are available. For example, if you want to build something on top of an open banking API, there is that is available. You can directly get access to a Yes Bank account details by partnering with them, getting their API, and also building some product on top of it. So the policies have changed, data penetration changed. Geo brought a complete change in the way that how we use mobile phones and internet. So this is the right time that you can basically start. And there's artificial intelligence. So this artificial intelligence is also going to be changing a lot in the way how people are going to use it. For example, if you're a user of Netflix and if you're using Netflix, it's not because you like Netflix. It is the manipulation that Netflix has done to you with the help of AI to make use this Netflix continuously. Uber knows, let's say Uber knows the Bangalore roads better than the Bangalore traffic police because they have this data and they have this AI intelligence. They tell your drivers, don't take this road, take this road. So this AI is going to change the way that how people are going to live the life. So I think that's also another interesting thing that you can make use of. And this is the right time that you can think about bringing something with artificial intelligence. This is a funny story again. For example, if you go to Justile, just go to the category section on the left side. Initially, when Justile was huge and Justile was Justile, this was the one-stop platform. But if you take one category from this, every category and subcategory of Justile has become one business. For example, they have a travel booking that has become to Ola. There is an air ticket booking that has become to Yatra, Ace My Trip.
It's 12 o'clock.
So if you just go to Justile, we used to make fun of this. If you go to Justile, if you want an idea, just go to Justile, pick up a category, and you go to a competition analysis and think about doing a business with that category. The reason why I was talking about this guy is when you build something, you should have a problem in your mind. You should have a unique problem in your mind. And you should have a unique way of solving that problem in your mind. And that's the reason WhatsApp was born. And that is the reason he was able to sell that for close to $20 billion. So talk about a problem, think about a unique solution. You will eventually come up with a better idea and startup. There is always a risk. There's nothing that you can do in a couple of years, it's a couple of hours or a couple of days. It'll take some time, and talk to a mentor, find a mentor, have a right team working with you, find a way to sustain. That is also very important. So like the Darwin say, it's not the strongest of the species that survive. Or not even the most intelligent. So it's not mandatory that you have to be the strongest. Or it's not mandatory that you're the topper in the class. Or it's not mandatory that you're the most intelligent in the whole universe. It is just important that you know how to be responsive to the changes. You know how to come up with a better idea. Then you will be able to be the strongest, be the intelligent. You will be like having a better life. So with that, I'll stop this. I've already taken more than 45 minutes. So this is where you can reach out to me, nizam@wamain.com. My number is also here. So happy to have you on a call if required. And let me know if you have any questions, if you need any help, and happy to help you there as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me. And I hope I did not bombard a lot of information. Rather, I was trying to help you understand why you should not start. Before you even start, what you should even think about before starting something. Thank you so much again. Have a very, very good day.
Yeah. Thank you, Nizamuddin. In the comment section, one student posted 2 questions. Can you answer further questions?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I want to know how to raise funding for a startup with a unique idea via VC or something. So I think I may not be the right person to speak about this because I haven't raised much. The only few lakhs is something that we raised. We were able to sustain with our own. So I may not be a right person to answer you how do you raise a funding from a VC. But from the experience of pitching to VCs, I've done a lot of pitching to VCs. Couple of things that I realized is they look for a team. They look for a right team. They look for what is their experience in that domain. My problem was I was a single founder. And being a single founder, running an enterprise company, that too data sensitive, that too a large scalable, they had concerns in terms of why are you not having a co-founder? And hire a co-founder and come back to us. That was a problem. But we're still able to raise from Accelo Ventures, which is a VC from Accelo is a fund by the founders of Infosys, Chris and Shibal and all that. We were able to raise from them, but not a large fund, like $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, etc. So I think one thing that you look at is team. So see if you can project yourself as the right team for this particular idea. Number two is show some tractions or examples of a similar traction. So maybe that you're starting up something, you may not have tractions to show, but you may have some tractions on the similar segment in the other country, in the US or somewhere, to show, saying that, hey, this is where exactly we are going. In India, we don't have this, so we are coming up with this. We already have this many trials done. We don't already have this many products done, etc. So this question is again contextual to the product, whatever product that you have. Maybe you can reach out to me and I can also answer to you to understand after understanding what your product is. But again, traction is important. Team is important. Your business plan is important. What are you going to do with the money is going to be important. What are your scaling plans is important. Their exit plans. So how are they going to take money from you after 2 years or 3 years? That is going to be very important. Your competitor segment is going to be important. So we have some slides that we prepared for pitching to VCs. So why you're better than a competitor is very important. Your customer segment is important. Your marketing plans. How are you going to reach out to the customer? Marketing plan is important. Risk in your business is very important for them to know. So there are few things that they would love to know if they want to invest in your company. So if you have answers for all this, then it is easy. You can simply show that, hey, I want 1 million for me to take my company from 200K monthly recurring to 1 million, and after that I'll be able to take 2 million back, and which is going to be eventually the company's valuation will go to 5 million, 10 million, and if I do an exit from the company, you have a 20% of my stake, you will easily get 3x of your return income. So, and that's a story you need to build. Yeah. I think Y Combinator is now accepting invitations. I have a few friends who got into Y Combinator. That's the best platform if you want to definitely try. I have a meeting with a Y Combinator startup in the second half. We are doing an association for one of our product. So the advantage of Y Combinator is the number one, the visibility. The moment you are a Y Combinator startup, then you're a YC startup. Everybody knows you as a YC startup. You go to an investor and say that I'm a YC startup. I think your validation is done by default. Then it's all about how are you going to market it. So I think they're accepting invitations. There is a long application form available. If you need some help, I can definitely connect you with the other founders who got selected to YC. Happy to do. How to reach out to them for any kind of startup related help. They do have a digital accelerator sort of setup where you can sign up and get access to YC. So do try that. How does a cash flow of a business differ from a business model? I think it's like brother sister. Cash flow is not business model and business model is not cash flow. So cash flow is, it's all about in and out, the money that is coming and the money that is going. Business model is all about how are you going to spend this money? Where are you going to spend this money? With that money, what are you going to take back? What is the ROI? What is the different streams? What is the right medium for communicating? So it's all about your baby steps of your business. Whether you want to hire somebody, and for hiring somebody, will you be having money, and what will be the extra cost? The business model will have pretty much everything about your future. And I don't really think the company will work exactly like a business plan, but you can at least target, to work like a business plan. So cash flow and business model are different. Cash flow is all about how much I'm spending and how much I'm getting. Business model is all about strategies, your steps, your marketing, your spends, your hiring, your acquisitions, your customer onboarding. So it comes with pretty much everything. You can think about this. Right now, if you're at 10K US dollar on a revenue, and you have a plan to reach 100K by the end of next 12 months, what are the actions that you do in the next 12 months to reach that 100? That is the business plan. Simple as that. Yeah. I'm not really sure who is Yusuf Khan, but the questions are very, very valid and very good questions here.
Okay, any more questions from participants? You can post it in the comment section. Okay, no more questions. Thanks for all the participants, and thank you, Nizamuddin. You were given wonderful speech about what to bring in our mind to start up any companies, what are the risks to be taken, and what are the points to be considered in our mind. And so many things you were given that is very useful to our your juniors and for our students also.
Thank you so
if they want
much.
to
Yeah. Thank you
if
so
they
much
want
for
to communicate with you, means shall they contact with you regarding
there is
startup or something?
In the slide I've given my email ID and phone number also.
Okay.
Email is nazam@wamen.com and phone number is also given there. So yeah, feel free to connect anytime.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you everyone. Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thank you for asking questions. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.